morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great, big, beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yah's creation. It is the 12th of June, 2025, and as always, I'm holding the legacy media's feet to the fire because it's propaganda, gaslighting, BS, and lies. You know what?
You won't be trusted anymore.
All right, welcome to the Thursday edition of the WTF Reports. I'm Dave vonKleist, and yeah, WTF, as if we don't have enough reason to exclaim that, but I'm here with the audio receipts, as always, WTF with the facts. And this broadcast is brought to you in part by the Wave Watch. If you haven't checked it out, I implore you to do so. It's not going to hurt, not even a little bit. Wave Watch is based on Rife technology, frequencies, etc., etc. Of course, we all know that Tesla told us frequency is everything. And the Wave Watch is a Rife machine you wear on your wrist. Yeah, the Rife machines are out there. If you do some searches, you'll find there's a bunch of different Rife machines out there, and they're pretty doggone good. But they're pretty doggone expensive, too, and there's a pretty doggone long learning curve. But the Wave Watch is easy. Just put it on and check out whatever category you want, and just turn it on, and off it goes. And it's a pretty cool deal. So anyway, check out the Wave Watch. Go to our website, TheWTFReports.com. Click on our sponsors button, and it'll take you down to a button where you will save $100 on a Wave Watch. And not only that, you get an extra $50 towards an extended warranty during this next couple of weeks here for Father's Day. So anyway, yeah, go to TheWTFReports.com and check out the Wave Watch. Okay, that said, as always, I'm here with the audio receipts. But before I get started, I want to ask you a question. What kind of car do you drive? Think about it. What kind of car? Is it a sedan? Is it a van? Is it an SUV? Is it a sports car? Is it a pickup truck? Is it an RV? What kind of car you drive? What kind of vehicle do you occupy? What color is it? And what kind of accessories does it have? All right. And I want to ask you, does that a vehicle define who you are or what you are? No, okay. It's just, you just happen to be occupying that vehicle. Well, we've all got these what do you call it? A flesh suit, a body that we have. And we have a brain and a soul, and that drives our body. Okay, but what kind of body are you wearing? Well, okay, what kind of flesh suit are you wearing? Are you tall? Are you short? Are you skinny? Are you fat? Are you white? Are you black? Are you brown? Are you yellow? Do you have white hair, blonde hair, brown hair, black hair? What color are your eyes? See, all those don't define who you are. It's just like a car. If you're driving a sedan or a van or whatever, that doesn't make who you are. Just like the body that you're in doesn't make who you are. It's sort of like, you're occupying a vehicle. And keeping that in mind, you don't define yourself by what you look like. And I'm really concerned about that because a lot of people are all hung up on what they look like and everything, but it's not the kind of body that or vehicle that you're driving. It's who's driving it. I mean, I've known some people. I've known some women who are like Maseratis. Whoa, look at that! But she's a crappy driver. Okay. Likewise, you could be driving an old beat up Volkswagen. You could be the best driver in the world. So you don't define people by what they look like, or where was that car made? Was it made in America? Was it made in Japan? Is it an Italian car? Is it a Swedish car? It's just a doggone car. I just thought I'd throw that out there because we need to put things into perspective. We all need to go look at ourselves in the mirror and look ourselves in the eye and look beyond the eyes. Who are you? Really? Why are you here? What is it that you're here for? These are questions that we should all be asking ourselves because this it really helps to put things into perspective. I just wanted to throw that out there because it's kind of important right now. Because we are so racially divided and ethnically divided and heritagely divided, But that's not who we are. We're born into this world for a purpose. Now, a lot of us, we go through our entire lives trying to figure out what that purpose is. But I can't help but remember the words of Sam. Remember in the movie Ghost, when Sam, at the end of the movie, when Sam turned back and he looked at Molly, and he was just about to go into the light because he was a ghost. And Molly could finally see him after all the movie, And he turns back to Molly and he says to her, Molly, it's amazing. All the love, you get to take that with you. And that's true. And it's also reiterated, the final line in the Abbey Road album by the Beatles. Remember that? And in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. That, to me, that's why we're here. We're not here to gather up as many, cars and big houses and stuff and all that. You can't take that stuff with you. You come into this world naked, you're going to leave naked. It's as simple as that. And the amount of compassion and empathy and love that you share with other people, that comes back to you. Yeah, karma's real, folks. It really is. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Everybody needs to consider what kind of car they're driving and where they're going. That's kind of important. So anyway, I just wanted to start off the program. I was thinking about that. I've mentioned that in the past before, but every once in a while that, those values come to the forefront of my particular life, and I wanted to share that with you. Anyway, there's a couple of other news stories here. There's a media frenzy, or a marketing frenzy, I should say. There's this little doll that's everybody's talking about. It's called Labubu. Labubu, and everybody's going crazy for their kids. Kids want a Labubu, and it's a goofy looking thing, and it's all in the news. Yeah, well, there's a frenzy. You have to sign up and get at a specific time. You can only get so many Labubus, and there's all these people going, oh my God, I've got to get one for my kids. Oh yeah. And I remember what happened. Remember the Cabbage Patch Kids way back in the 80s? It was the same kind of a deal. Everybody was going crazy for Cabbage Patch Kids. And it was just a fad. It was a marketing thing. Oh, remember the Pet Rock? Yeah, that goes all the way back to the 70s and 80s. And it's all marketing, And it's, people are out there spending all kinds of money to get these bebobs or baubles or, goofy things, and they think that they're going to be really valuable. Remember the Beanie Baby? The Beanie Babies in the 90s. Oh, man, I remember on the shopping networks, they were saying, hey, we got a special Irish Beanie Baby. There's only so many of them. People were going, oh, my gosh, I've got to have my Beanie Babies. And people were collecting these things. They're thinking that they're going to be, worth a lot of money. I'll tell you, you couldn't swap out a Beanie Baby for a peanut butter sandwich at these days. But I just wanted to alert you to that. So anyway, all right, well, what's in the news? Of course, everybody's talking about what's going on in L.A., and that doggone they should be. There's, and a lot of people are looking at the nokings.org website, and they're looking at who put that ad in the New York Times. Who put that full-page ad in the New York Times? Well, guess who it was? It was Cristy Walton from the Wal-Mart dynasty. And there's a lot of folks out there talking about that, and it's amazing because there's a lot of blowback going on. Now folks are saying, oh, we need to boycott Walmart. And guess what's happening? Walmart is closing 154 stores next month. Let's listen to this.
Attention, any Walmart shoppers still in the store. The store is now closed. Attention, any remaining customers.
But it's happening. Will permanently close next month.
In total, the company announced that 269 store locations will be closed worldwide starting next month. Though most of the store locations are in the United States, a bulk of the store closures will occur in Brazil as well. Included in the restructuring, 102 Walmart Express stores will be closed in the United States, with 154 stores in the U.S. closing altogether. The move will affect 16,000 employees. In other markets, Walmart said it was closing 115 stores in Latin America, including 60 in Brazil.
So this comes as officials with the company continue to pull workers back to its main hubs. So in the memo that was sent to employees, the retailer said it is cutting roles and asking office-based employees in some of its smaller offices to relocate to the company's newly opened headquarters, but did not specify how many workers are being impacted.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. What timing, huh? What timing? And, there are a lot of us conspiracy theorists out there that look at what's going on with Walmart and closing these stores, and you have to say, well, wait a second. Wait a minute. What is it about Walmart? A lot of folks, you remember back in the 90s and early 2000s and stuff like that, there was a lot of scuttlebutt about how Walmarts are being used and they're designed so that when they shut down, they can be used as holding facilities. Is there any truth in that, considering what we're looking at coming down the pike this coming weekend? And by the way, my personal feeling on this coming weekend with the NoKings.org website and the demonstrations that are planned all over the country, that, there could be some truth in that. I don't know. I'm just thinking outside of the cage. Well, there's some other folks that are thinking outside of the cage, too. And there's a lot of folks out there that are saying, well, we're going to boycott Wal-Mart now because of Cristy Walton, paying for this full-page ad. And let's listen to this guy. And by the way, I get a lot of my clips from X. And I do, go to some other social media platforms. But I got to tell you, it was in the news yesterday. I think it was on News Nation, and they were talking about the impact that X is having on the distribution of news, not just in the United States, but all over the world. It seems that more people are getting their news and their information from X, from any of the news networks. No wonder the mainstream is so PO'd at Elon Musk. Anyway, here's a post from Machiavelli, and this guy puts a couple puzzle pieces together. Give it a listen.
When corporations fund protests, you have to really wonder what the heck is going on. The No Kings protest that's happening all over America on June 14th, funded by Walmart. Right there, paid for by Cristy Walton. Cristy Walton is the billionaire heiress of Walmart, worth almost $20 billion. What do you think her end game here is? Is she really worried about authoritarianism or human rights abuses? Or is she just after cheap labor? Okay, over 70% of SNAP recipients and Medicaid users were full-time workers, and many of them are from Walmart. The irony is certainly not lost on me that the biggest organized protest against a so-called king is being organized by an oligarch. I don't think it's by accident that the bottom 50% of China holds twice as much wealth as the bottom 50% of America. Okay, China is the blue line, America is the red line. This should wake a lot of people up. Think about it. Why is China, where we get all our cheap goods from, why are they able to pay their workers, but not us? It's almost like they're trying to distract us from everything other than paying people a living wage. Let me know what you think.
That's kind of interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Well, there's a lot of folks out that are saying, what is this methodology? What is it? Why is it that these Democrats have been working so hard to open up the borders, let so many illegals in? And, of course, there's a lot of folks out that make a lot of sense, because when the census comes around, the census is going to determine how many members of Congress there are. Yeah, that's the way it works. So if you let in a snot load of illegal aliens, and of course they're let in under the Biden Democrat administration, and they're given debit cards, and they're given, cell phones, and they're given all kinds of stuff. Of course, they're going to vote Democrat, and that's what the Democrats are hoping for, because let's face it, for the past 10 years, they've been on the ropes, ever since Trump came down the golden escalator and defeated Hillary back in 2016. I said 10 years, okay, 9 years-ish. But ever since he came down the golden escalator and basically decimated the Democratic Party. Of course, the mainstream media was lying through their teeth, saying that, Hillary, there's no way Trump is going to win. We remember all the audio clips, George Clooney and Tom Hanks and all of the Democrats saying there's no way that Trump's going to win. Yeah, she's a shoo-in. She's going to be the president. And then he became president. And that's when all the lawfare started and all this other, and they've been desperate to get back control. And we all know that the direction which the Democrats, or shall I say the globalist party is, let's call them the globalist party from now on, because that's what they are. We all know that, that they will do absolutely anything to remain in power. And so, yeah, under the Biden administration, Trump said, build that wall. And, all the conservatives were, build that wall, build that wall. Yeah, build the wall because of all of the sex trafficking and the drugs that was coming across. And, of course, that's part of the globalist plan, is to weaken the United States. And, of course, as soon as Biden got in, he stopped, building the wall, actually sold off all the materials that were laying there ready to be constructed, sold them for pennies on the dollar, and then just stopped any type of vetting whatsoever. Just come on in. Here's a debit card. Here's a cell phone. Here's a new pair of Nikes, here's an address. Go there. They'll take care of you. Yeah, you go to New York. We got hotel rooms for you guys, Gracias, señor. Gracias, señor. You're going to vote Democrat? Sí, Democrat. Bueno. Okay, and that was the plan. Get all these illegals in here, and not only that, all the military-age males that came across from other countries, hostile countries. Yeah, that's part of the plan. Well, as far as, bringing illegals into the country so that when the census comes around, they have a higher body count and they can flip the, the congressional seats. Here's a gentleman that put it together. Here it is.
So do you want to know what all this craziness in L.A. is really about? The riots, the organized protests, and the current chaos unfolding in the sanctuary city known as Los Angeles? Well, it's not organic, and it's definitely not random. It's actually a calculated move by the leftist ruling class to protect the one thing that keeps them in power: census-based political control. You see, House seats and electoral votes aren't based on how many citizens live in a state, just how many people are counted in that state, and that includes illegal aliens. They are counted as well. So when over 10 million plus flood across the border into blue states like New York and California over the last 4 years, it's not about compassion, it's about math. More bodies equals more power in Congress. But now, mass deportations and people fleeing these blue states are threatening that math. For every 740,000 illegal aliens that are deported from a blue state is one congressional seat in 2030. And if that trend continues, the DNC just doesn't lose votes, they lose control, and likely for good. This is why they would burn a city down like LA to stop Trump. This is why we're seeing the panic. Media hysteria to stop deportations, state-level obstruction to protect population counts, protests and riots like we're seeing in LA designed to bait the feds and flip the narrative. This was never about human rights or compassion. They don't care about you. They don't care about your safety. They only care about control and power. It's political survival, and the census is the real battlefield. Let me know what you think in the comments, and hit that follow.
There you go. Well, that's his opinion, and I would tend to agree with him if it weren't for one thing. The census doesn't happen for another 5 years. Think about that, folks. It's not going to happen for another 5 years. So, what's going to happen between now and then? Okay? That's a good question, isn't it? And, let's, with all the stuff that they've got planned with this NoKings.org effort coming up this weekend. And by the way, it's not just going down in Los Angeles right now. I've heard reports that Austin, Texas is having all kinds of demonstrations. Dallas, Texas, Philadelphia, Colorado. It's going off. It's rippling across the country. And of course, Trump is deploying the National Guard, and now the Marines are heading in there, and people are saying, oh my gosh, it's going to be a bloodbath. Well, let me remind you, the Marines are there to protect the federal buildings, the governmental buildings. That's why they're there. They're not there to arrest. They are not there. That's not their authority. They do not have the authority to arrest anybody. Neither does the National Guard. That's up to the police to do that. National Guard is to keep the highways open from all these idiots that go and block the 101, and the Marines are there to protect all the federal buildings. So the point is, it's the police that are there to arrest. Now, I don't know, how many arrests are going to have to happen to make up for the tens of millions of illegals that have come across the border for the past 4 years. They've got to be making lots, hundreds of thousands of arrests every month. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that, to be quite honest. And you know, this entire thing, of course, is created by the Democrats, or shall I say the Globalist Party. I got to try to remember that. I'm going to write that down and paste it on the wall. Democrat Party equals Globalist Party. But anyway, this is not a new concept. As a matter of fact, I got a little montage here. We got Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and who else? Well, let's listen. You'll recognize these voices. Listen to what they have to say.
In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes.
Senator Biden, yes or no, would you allow the cities to ignore the federal law?
No.
I think we got to have tough conditions. Tell people to come out of the shadows. If they've committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked.
Undocumented workers broke our immigration laws, and I believe that they must be held accountable, especially those who may be dangerous.
Now, why is it that it's okay for Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, and Barack Obama to be talking about deportation of illegal immigrants, but when Trump does it, no, orange man, bad. This is where we're at. I mean, the hypocrisy, the stench curls my nose hairs. It's nuts. Anyway, this first half hour has gone by quickly. Oh, come on. I'm going to open the phone lines. I'd like to hear what you have to say. What do you think? Where do you think this is going to go? Do you think we're heading into the second American Civil War here? Because that's a lot of people are saying that. 215-867-8255. Again, that's 215-867-8255. So give me a ring. Now, when I pick up the phone, you may hear some silence. Just hang on the phone, okay? Now, you know, there are a lot of folks out there, a lot of Mexicans are really pissed off about what's going on here. Because all these rioters that are waving the Mexican flag, et cetera, I mean, they're really going to screw it up for all the legal and American Hispanics that are here. I mean, well, let's give a listen to what this guy said. Now, this is an American, a Mexican American. He's not too happy about this. Let's listen to him.
To all of our Mexican and Hispanic families that are rioting in Los Angeles, thank you. Thank you for confirming every stereotype, every stigma, every rumor about Mexicans. In just 4 days, you were successful in turning the entire American population against us. Thank you for making all of us unsafe now. Thank you for putting an even bigger target on Mexicans and Hispanics across the board. Thank you for advocating for peace with the flag from a country that you won't live in, burning the flag of the country you want to live in. Thank you for the destruction of property that taxpayers pay for. Thank you for doing everything in the illegal criminal book that will get you locked up. No, and I truly mean it. Thank you because everything is so much better now. Thank you because I've never felt so safe in my life. I've never felt so good about being a Mexican or a Hispanic. I have never felt better about speaking in Spanish in public. I have never felt prouder than where my parents came from and what they instilled in us when people are looking at all of these images of you guys assaulting officers and throwing bricks at cars and looting and burning up the American flags. Like, that is exactly what we've wanted. You are the exact people that do not belong in this country. You may be from Mexico, but if you live in this nation, your sovereignty, your support, your allegiance is to this country. How dare you wave a flag that has done nothing for you? How dare you raise a flag of a place you are not willing to live in? How dare you burn the flag of a people that you want to accept you? How dare you assault the officers that their entire employment is to protect you? How dare you put every Mexican, every Salvadorian, every Ecuadorian, every Colombian, every Cuban, everyone across the board in harm's way because of your stupid actions? Maybe behind bars or on the other side of a fence is where you actually need to be. Because all this nonsense that you're doing in this free nation of America, try doing that in the place of the flag that you're waving. Try going to Jalisco and do the nonsense that you're doing here. See if the cartels don't take you to the alley. No, please, go to Colombia. Do the exact same thing and see how the Colombian government's going to treat you. Go to Ecuador, where people are running away because they don't feel safe there. Go there and do what you're doing here. See how they will willfully just accept you. We have become entitled children that act like children, talk like children, that do everything that resembles a lower class. And that is not what I stand for. That is not the Mexican heritage that I come from. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Are you for it? Are you against it? Or are you neutral? And consider hitting that follow button for your daily updates.
Okay. Yeah, he puts it all together, doesn't he? He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. You can't do that in another country. No, you can't. And you can't. Why should we expect it to happen here? So let me see if I've had another related clip here. I must have closed that one. Okay, let's see here. Oh yeah, here it is. Now there is on Craigslist there was an ad, and it was looking for some badasses. Yeah, to go to to be employed for a week, and there's some folks out there that went to check it out. And there's a guy here that explains what happened when he went to see if he could get paid to do a job. Here it is.
I just want to explain a little something to all you dipshits who have no idea what's going on in LA. I have been on the ground for the past 4 days. I just got back from the federal building. I was detained twice. The National Guard are not being deployed against U.S. citizens. The Marines are not being deployed against U.S. citizens.
Wrong clip, but good point.
They are being stationed at federal buildings across the country where riots are taking place. They do not leave the steps of those buildings. They do not touch the sidewalk. They are there as security for those buildings. Those buildings are federal property. They are allowed to operate there. If you do not storm the federal building and you do not attack the National Guard, you will not be attacked by the National Guard. They will not retaliate against you if you do not threaten them. And by threaten, I mean try to break their ranks. I stood 2 inches from the National Guard today. They did nothing to me. I watched several other people who were protesters stand 2 inches from the National Guard today. They did nothing. If you do not try to enter the federal building, they will not do anything. They are not allowed to operate in a law enforcement capacity because the cities that these buildings are in will not allow them to. Calm down and stop being stupid. I'm Cam Higbee and I'm an investigative journalist. I cover protests around the country.
Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary. And you can get more tank if you please. Go to our website, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors page and it'll bring you down to a Get More Tank. And if you go to their website, all the technical information is there. It'll explain to you why and how it works. And it does. I've been using it in my car. And like I said, I've told you folks many times before, within 1 tank of gas, I noticed when I hit my pedal, I almost felt G-forces. That car jumped. I mean, all of a sudden I had more power. It ran better. It ran cleaner. And after a couple of tanks, I started to see the benefit as far as mileage is concerned. Now, depending upon your driving habits and what make and model of vehicle that you drive, you'll see anywhere between 15 and 20% increase in your mileage. And if you do the math, it's a no-brainer, folks. It's a win-win situation. It's going to cost you $20 when you use the promo code. You get 5 tablets. Now, on your first application, you're going to use 2 tablets. But from then on, it's 1 tablet per tank. So bottom line here is you spend $20, you get 5 tablets, and once you're using it, if you're getting 20% better mileage, that means your 5th tank is free. So if you spend $20 and the benefit is you get a free tank of gas, It's a no-brainer. How much is a tank of gas these days? Depending upon your vehicle, anywhere between 50 and, $80. I know some people got big old Suburbans and they pay nearly $100. So, do yourself a favor. Give this stuff a try. It ain't going to hurt your car. That's for sure. So if you get more tank and try this stuff out, you'll go, WTF, this stuff works. Yeah, check this stuff out. Go to our website, the WTF Reports, click on the sponsors page, and get more tank. All right, that said, it's, 25 minutes before the top of the hour. And again, I open up the phone lines. I want to know what your thoughts are. Where is this country going? Are we going into a second civil war here? 215-867-8255. I'll put you right on the air if you give me a call. Okay, now here's a guy. Now, this is the clip I was going to play. The last clip was just basically backing up what I was telling you, that the Marines and the National Guard, they're not there to arrest people. That's up to the police. Okay, they are there to protect. The Marines are there to protect the federal and government buildings, and the National Guard is to protect the people. And it's up to the police to do the arrests, and they are following the law. But there are folks out there, like I was saying, there was an ad in Craigslist looking for some, and I quote, badasses to do a particular job. Well, there's one guy that was talking about exactly that, and here he is.
I just got offered $200 a day to go protest ICE in New York. The organization was called No Kings. They said June 14th we're going to be protesting, and these are the streets that you need to be on, and this is what you need to do. You need to cause chaotic disruptions, and they said that there's going to be pallets of like bricks and different things everywhere that protesters could use. They really want to wreak havoc. It's kind of ridiculous. Me as an American, although I need the money, I'm like, this is very, very unpatriotic. If I was to go take this money and go protest, it's not very American. It's not what I stand for. It's obviously not even, worth the time. But, $200 a day is what they're paying people to go protest. The corruption is up here because it goes way beyond these organizations. They want to destroy America, and people like me that need money are gonna go do it. I'm not gonna go do it, but people are gonna go do it. They're gonna go destroy, the city and cause chaos. It's just crazy that, they're even paying people to go do this. It just goes to show that everything we deal with is corruption, and these people at the top level, like, who's paying for this? There's got to be some billionaires paying for this so that, they could try to get Trump out or something. But, $200 a day to go cause chaos is, like, crazy. Not worth it, but also, like, really fucked up.
Oh, excuse that language. I didn't realize that word was in there. Pardon me. I can't help it. This whole situation reminds me of a joke. Okay, and this joke is, a guy goes up to a beautiful woman. He says, hey, will you have sex with me for $1 million? And she goes, wow, how dare you? He says, no, I'm serious. It's sort of like that movie that Richard Gere and Julia Roberts was in. But he says, yeah, will you have sex with me for $1 million? And she thinks about it for a minute. She says, $1 million? He says, yeah, $1 million cash. And she says, okay. He says, all right, well, wait a minute. Would you have sex with me for $1? She says, wait a minute. What do you think I am anyway? And he says, well, we've already determined what you are. We're just negotiating a price. Let that settle in. And that's sort of where we're at with some of these, these people who are accepting money to go protest. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, let me see. Let's move on here. Again, the phone lines are quiet. Maybe you're just listening. But it sounds to me like Dr. Phil, Dr. Phil. Yeah, he's going through a red pill moment. Listen up.
Your eyes don't deceive you, but the media does. CNN's Dana Bash, well, she compares this madness to what happened in L.A. in 1992.
What did happen in 1992 was so different from what we're seeing now. I mean, that was a real riot.
Guess this isn't a real riot. MSNBC interviewing California Representative Judy Chu, a Democrat, who calls this a, quote, manufactured crisis. What does that even mean? This crisis isn't manufactured. MSNBC's news coverage is manufactured. That's what's manufactured.
You have outliers that throw things and cause damage. And so, yes, the LAPD came in and they called it an unlawful assembly.
She apparently had no idea that on her split screen were burning cars set ablaze by outliers. So while she's talking, they're showing, well, it just didn't seem to go with her rhetoric at the time. MSNBC again.
It's actually relatively mellow, even though it might not seem that way. It's like a sort of, you know, another thing that happens at protests like this is that they sort of settle into almost like a celebratory atmosphere.
Celebratory atmosphere. The third one is the charm from MSNBC.
Most of the crowds, again, that I saw, that I spoke to, that I was interacting with, these are peaceful people that want to get their message across. They brought signs. They're out with families in some places.
Great place to take kids. I don't think so.
No kidding.
The headlines, same story. CNN. Trump seizes on Los Angeles protest in contentious use of military amid migrant crackdown. Trump escalates his battle with California. LA Times. Trump wants LA to set itself on fire. Let's rebel smarter. Well, a little too late to rebel smarter. LA is already on fire. And for what reason? Because ICE made 45 arrests, including a 55-year-old illegal resident from the Philippines. Who was this charmer? He was convicted of burglary, sexual penetration with a foreign object, and assault with intent to commit rape. And a Mexican national with a rap sheet that includes shooting up a house and vehicle with people inside, battery on a spouse or cohabitant, willful cruelty to a child, driving under the influence, and assault with a semi-automatic firearm. An illegal alien from Vietnam with a criminal history that includes a conviction for second-degree murder. The list goes on. Look, this was not a witch hunt to round up Abuela Maria. It's law enforcement getting criminals off the street. So what does the left do? Encourages everyone to become criminals by blocking freeways, setting fires, throwing rocks, destroying city property, and attacking federal agents. Might as well hold up a sign that says, I'm a violent criminal. Please arrest me. And do you think this unrest is limited to Los Angeles?
No, it's not. It is absolutely not. Like I mentioned a couple minutes ago, it's already gone across the country. It's in Austin, Texas. It's in Dallas, Texas. It's in Philadelphia. It's in Colorado. And, of course, we're hearing all kinds of stuff that's going on in New York. Now, I have to ask the question, you know, one of the clips I just played, the presenter asked, who is funding all this stuff? Well, if you go to the nokings.org website, it's really interesting because there's a whole list of major companies that are behind this. Now, let's turn the clock back. Remember when this whole George Floyd thing happened and the BLM thing started happening? And, you know, Black Lives Matter was being funded by all these huge corporations, Wal-Mart and Amazon and Major League Baseball, and the list goes on and on and on. All of these major corporations were behind the Black Lives Matter movement. And now you have to ask the question, how many black lives were improved by their efforts? Zero. Absolutely. Did they help any of the black families out there? Did they help the conditions of the black communities in any way whatsoever? No. Who benefited were the organizers of the Black Lives Matter, because they ended up with millions of dollars. One of the organizers ended up buying not one, but 4 mansions in white gated communities. That's where the money went. You want to talk about corruption? So isn't it funny that the same huge multinational corporations are helping to pay for all the expenses of this NoKings.org effort. Now, who they are, the nameless, faceless people, I don't know. A lot of folks are saying, it goes right back to George Soros. Yeah, as a matter of fact, coincidentally, George Soros' son and Oma Abedin are getting married this Saturday. I wonder if we could pay some protesters to go there. Amazing. And speaking of George Soros, let's give a listen. This was, let me see, where did this come from? This was posted by Real Robert. And this was on I think this was on the Forbes channel. Let me see. Don't hold me to that, but this is an interesting take on it. Follow the money trail.
Donald Trump claims Hungarian-American billionaire George Soros is responsible for interfering in the political landscape of many countries. The account claims that Soros used a hefty $260 million from U.S. aid to spread chaos, change governments, and pursue personal gain in countries such as India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Ukraine.
Okay, I'm going to pause that for a second. Is it possible that he would be funneling money to change the political course of this country?
Now, this comes as the Trump administration continues to freeze U.S. aid's budget, describing its initiatives as misaligned with American interests and accusing them of destabilizing global peace.
Well, many ideas, but look, he's done a great job. Look at all the fraud that he's found in this U.S. AID. It's a disaster what the people, radical left lunatics, they have things that nobody would have even believed. The whole thing with $100 million spent on you know what, with money going to all sorts of groups that shouldn't deserve to get any money. With the money, I'd like to see what the kickbacks are.
Yeah, I'd like to see what the kickbacks are, too. And again, this USAID thing, of course, the Globalist Party, formerly known as the Democrat Party, okay, they're really upset because a lot of the kickbacks go in their direction. Yeah. And so, and this whole thing about the National Guard, by the way, remember the January 6th insurrection? And that President Trump tried to get the National Guard to go in there, but the mayor of Washington, D.C. and Nancy Pelosi said no. They rejected it. That's on the record. As a matter of fact, there's audio of Nancy Pelosi saying that exact same thing. They knew doggone well that they rejected the National Guard, but they're hoping that the American people have the attention span of a potato, and unfortunately most of them do. But this is what she said recently. This was on C-SPAN. This is Nancy Pelosi in regard to the National Guard issue. Listen to this.
In a bipartisan way, on January 6th, with violence against the Constitution, against the Congress, and against the United States Capitol, we begged the President of the United States to send in the National Guard.
Did you hear that? Okay, we'll let her continue. Let's let her continue.
He would not do it. Not only would he not do it, when law enforcement people were being harmed, some later died, he would not send it in when an instigation that an insurrection that he incited was causing damage to those assigned to protect the people and the Constitution. Died. He would not send it in when an instigation that an insurrection that he incited was causing damage to those assigned to protect the Capitol and the Constitution that day, to accept the results of the Electoral College.
Unbelievable. Unflaming believable that she could even come out there and even say that. And they're just hoping that the globalist party will overlook the idea that she said the opposite. And she did the opposite on January 6th. This is nuts. I don't know what it's going to take for the globalist party out there to wake up. But they've got, you folks, you either got to get yourself educated or sit down and shut up, because it's not a good thing that what you're doing. It is absolutely not a good thing. I don't know. I get out of breath. just thinking about that. And going back to, for the past couple days, I did play an audio clip. I could play it again, but it basically gives a little bit of history about Karen Bass. Karen Bass, of course, is the mayor of Los Angeles. But encapsulated, in summary, in 1983, the United States Capitol was bombed, and she was the ringleader. You know what else is interesting? The bombing was carried out by a left-wing group called the M19. The M19 was radicalized by the South Los Angeles Venceremos Brigade. And the South Los Angeles Venceremos Brigade was founded by Communist Democrat Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. Just so you know. And, oh, by the way, we could go back and revisit the Palisades fires. We know about that. And we also know that the water was not available. I mean, and that goes back to Gavin Newsom. And that we're in a world of hurt. Unless this globalist party, all you good blue Democrats out there, you've got to check out the history. You've got to do your own research instead of consuming the intellectual fecal matter that's being shoved down your gullet 24/7 by the alphabet news agencies, and that includes Fox, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, and yes, to a certain extent, Newsmax, OAN. You know, a lot of you guys, they give a little bit better coverage. Yeah, it leans more conservative. Of course it does. But they're still not telling you the whole truth. Now, I've got another clip here in regard to what's going on with these demonstrations. In other words, riots that are going on in Los Angeles and spreading around the country. And God knows what's going to happen this weekend. And I have my own take on that. There could be a good side of this. I'll get to it after you hear this guy. Here he is.
To all of our Mexican and Hispanic families that are rioting in Los Angeles.
Oh, that's the same one. Okay. All right. I already played that one. Sorry about that. It had a different picture on it. But no, I do have my my take on this. Now, a lot of us conspiracy theorists out there, over the past 7-8 years, you remember the Q posts and the Anons? And again, I'll reiterate, there's no such thing as QAnon. When you hear people say QAnon, they don't know what they're talking about. So they have no validity whatsoever. So there's Q and there's Anons. But anyway, regardless, when these Q posts started coming out, and they were talking about the white hats. And yeah, there's a bunch of websites out there that are saying, oh yeah, there's all these body doubles, clones, and people with very sophisticated masks. And I do believe that's true. Absolutely, I do. We all seen the side-by-side comparisons of Joe Biden 10 years ago and Joe Biden during the past administration. And, the earlobes and the eyes and stuff like that. There's no way it's the same person. And we've seen many other situations where there are people who are masked. But anyway, I digress. The point is that the Q posts were also talking about, the military tribunals. And folks out there like Derek Johnson, bless his heart, he's done an awful lot to educate people as far as the UCMJ and the color of law, what happened with the Biden inauguration, the 3-gun salute, et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of people have been talking about the military tribunals that have been going on for the past several years, and many of these people have already been detained. They've already gone through the military tribunal, and a lot of them have already been, shall we say, disposed of. Now, I don't necessarily believe that. However, when I look at what's going on, and I look at the possibility of, that people are saying, well, we're going to have the emergency broadcast system kick in there. We're going to have 10 days of darkness. We're going to have all of the networks shut down, and the internet is going to only carry certain stuff, well, maybe that has to happen. Think about that. If all of a sudden the internet goes down and all the networks go down and there is an 8-hour loop, a video loop that's broadcast on television on all of the channels, so you have no choice but to watch it, maybe that is something that has to happen. But they're going to need a catalyst. There's going to have to be a reason. And the American people will have to see that reason. They're going to have a scare event. Well, maybe what's coming up this weekend is the beginning of a series of events that will present the scare event, that will all of a sudden legitimize a nationwide shutdown and a declaration of a national emergency and an 8-hour loop. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I mean, I realize that's a stretch. That's way out on the limb. Oh, okay, let's see. I got a caller. All right, let's jump in there. I'll see what happens. Okay, caller. Let's see. Oh, it's Carolyn again. Hello, Carolyn. How are you? All right.
You got me on the one.
Okay, well, listen, you've only got 2 minutes. That's all you got. Go ahead, quick.
Okay, so let's do this. Okay. The disaster capital, there's that one. They destroyed, they did the fires on purpose. They wanted territory, et cetera, et cetera. I was on
Turn off your alarm. Turn off your alarm. I'm here. Turn it off.
It's a ball that's ready to go off. No, so you know what? Just go talk. I get out of breath. I literally ran out here. That's why I was beeping, because I'm like, oh my God. I was on the phone with New California State. I want to try to get a hold of you because we were talking about a lot of the potential of the basically federal protecting us. But I have heard the same thing that you're talking about, and if it's going to happen, I do believe, I agree with you that it could be this weekend. Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of it that they talk about that I don't agree with, like certain people still being alive. So that's a little extreme for me as far as my belief system goes. But I could see it. I could see that as a potential thing, yeah.
Well, I don't know, but I'm real careful these days because there are several websites out there that have put out some information that I can't help but think it's misinformation, and we're being fed misinformation on both sides of the political aisle. It's very difficult to sort it out. I mean, Judy Byington, for one, she puts out a lot of stuff, and some of it is very compelling. But other stuff is saying, no way, okay? And I can't help but think that there's a lot of stuff, a lot of misinformation being put out there.
And I think that's because it's like a psyop. Like they're actually on the right side. They're just infiltrating to make us look nuts because, I don't think Marilyn Monroe is still alive. Okay. Mm-hmm. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So go on. I didn't interrupt your show, but I just...
No, that's okay.
It takes your breath away.
Well, for instance, one of the things that people are saying is that Hillary Clinton was tried and she was executed. And I heard that too. Yeah, and somebody even put some photographs out there, supposedly of her lying on a gurney. Now, again, I don't, I know. And I've seen that, and so I can't say oh, come on, But in this crazy world, I mean, we don't know what's true and what isn't, and that's exactly right.
I agree.
Yeah, and
that's the most difficult for me too. It's just got to go. Whoa! It's so blurred. It's so it's so crazy that anything's possible. Really, at this point.
Yeah, really. All we can do now is pray, and I can't emphasize that enough. And Carolyn, thank you so much for the call. We're flat out of time. I got to let you go here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go.
All right. God bless. Anyway, yeah, and that's true, folks. At this point in time, if we are in a spiritual battle, and I know we are. And there's many other folks out there. I mean, Catherine Austin Fix was in an interview, and she said the same thing. This is a spiritual battle. We have to decide which line of the which side of the line we're going to stand, because it's a big time important. All right. Yeah, so, okay, figure out which side of the line you're going to stand. Are you going to stand in the light, or are you going to hide in the darkness? Are you going to go for the truth, or are you going to go for the propaganda? The only way to figure that out is to open your eyes and stare the beast right in the eye. That's it. You got to have the courage to do it. So I know where I stand. Do you know where you stand? Hopefully you do. All right, that's going to do it for today's Thursday's installment of the WTF Reports. Again, I implore you to visit our website and do business with us and help us keep the lights on. That said, I'll be back tomorrow with more of the audio clips and audio receipts. So God bless you all. Stay safe and stay free. I'll see you tomorrow. Anymore.